Elon Musk is absolutely crazy with his tweets. We're going to dive into that. I'm going to tell you what I think about everything that's going on, his craziest tweets as of yet, and overall how I use Elon Musk's Twitter account to kind of get an overall vibe of what's going on at Tesla, even though it's not what he's saying, it's how he's saying it. So right now we are up $1,000 from Friday. I'm the anonymous investor. I'm anonymous. That way I don't feel weird showing you my actual accounts and totally being as transparent as possible about how much money I'm putting into every single thing without feeling like I'm showing off or anything like that. So let's dive into it. Also, I want to say, you guys that are just starting to follow me and you're brand new, welcome. Everyone's pretty much new because this is a new channel. I really appreciate your support. I am trying to comment and respond to everyone's questions. And thanks so much for being here in the very beginning. I'm not going to ask for support from Patreon or anything like that. All I ask you guys is if you like this video and then you leave a comment letting me know what you think or any questions, and do that every single time. It's not worth my time making these videos, but I'm doing it because I want to help people like you, and I'm not going to ask for Patreon subscription or anything like that. So as you might have known, probably Elon's biggest tweet as of recently is when he wiped out $14 billion off of Tesla's value by tweeting, "The Tesla stock is too high, in my opinion." So IMO, in my opinion. And he did this, the stock kind of tumbled, and then it recovered, and now it's a little bit lower again. But Elon's tweets are pretty crazy. This is what happens if you just Google Elon's tweets. And here was a response by Elvis, trade like Elvis. Dude, I lost 10K because of this tweet. WTF. If you are trading Tesla stock like a day trader and you are trying to guess, where it's going to go, and did I hit a low? I'm going to sell at a high. I mean, there's so much volatility that it seems really appealing. But look, anything can happen. Elon can do a tweet and send the stock down momentarily, right? So it's very hard to guess, and I am not a trader. I do not trade, I invest. There's a reason why Warren Buffett says the stock market is a mechanism that takes money from impatient people and gives it to patient people. There's a reason, right? And so I'm always thinking of the future. And so when there's a volatile move in the market because of a tweet or because of some news, I'm not really thinking too much of that. In fact, I look at Elon Musk's Twitter account and what he is tweeting, and I actually use it overall to kind of get an idea of how he's feeling more than what he's actually saying. So here's another one. He got into trouble with this one. Never saw this British expat guy who lives in Thailand. Sus, meaning suspicious, at any point when we were in the caves. Bet you a signed dollar it's true. He's talking about how he thinks that the guy who found a bunch of children is probably a pedo. What else? Well, how about this? This is kind of a weird one. Recently, he says, "Hey, I'm selling all of my physical possessions. I'm going to own no house." What the heck does that mean? Diving a little bit deeper into this, I watched an interview of him, and he was talking about how he doesn't want to be tied down to physical things. He thinks that he will feel more free, and there's less that people can take from him, essentially, if he doesn't have as much physical possessions. A lot of you guys know this, right? I'm considering taking Tesla private at 420, funding secured. 420 is probably one of his favorite numbers. He uses 69 a lot in his tweets and different things, but 420, he was saying that he's going to have someone buy Tesla and take it private at 420. He got in tons of trouble with this, and now like $420 seems like a low price for Tesla, as it is trading obviously much higher, around 800 right now. And he got a lot of backlash from this. He got a lot of trouble from the SEC, and it's because it affects the stock market price so much whenever he tweets something, right? So the price was way under 420, and if they were going to get bought out, essentially what it would mean is that every shareholder would get able to sell at $420 per share, which means that if the price was under $420 per share, it's worth actually $420 per share if they were to take it private. So his tweets really affect the stock price. So one of the best places to get news about Tesla is actually from his tweets. So I am looking for actual concrete things that he's saying. That means maybe guidance like this, I meant to say annualized production rate at end of 2019, probably around 500,000 cars. Deliveries for the year still about 400,000 cars. He almost got in trouble for this tweet because they thought that he didn't already release this kind of information, but he did on his earnings call. But I'm actually looking for things that he is saying that's new. So I'm talking about releases of maybe new products or improvements or software downloads or new timelines for his products and how things are getting pushed along. But I'm also looking for emotional stuff. So here he recently posted that his girlfriend Grimes is mad at him. This is after he was posting all this crazy stuff about getting rid of his possessions, and he has been really vocal in saying that he wants people to get back to work and people should be able to have the option to be able to get back to work, which in my opinion, telling them they're not allowed to is not the best way to make people not freak out. And to him, you have to realize, like, he is a person that thinks his business and progress and products are worth his entire life. He does not sleep. He works every second that he's awake. He does not take breaks. Elon Musk has only tried to take 2 weeks off in the past 12 years. This was an older article here, but it highlights how crazy he is about really finding success with his business and his products. And to him, he is dedicating his entire life to his business. So he's willing to literally give up his life for his business. So if he thinks that he can maintain safety and can not affect, hopefully, other people or infect other people, then he thinks, that should be allowed. But also he's kind of cursed with taking vacations in general. He's taken 2 vacations since funding SpaceX. On the first vacation, when he was at PayPal, he was replaced by Peter Thiel. And on the next vacation, he contracted malaria and almost died. And when he took vacation after starting SpaceX, one of his company rockets exploded. So he is not a big fan of taking time off. He is so focused on his vision and finding success that he does not take time off. He's literally dedicating his entire life to his cause of accelerating the adoption of electric vehicles and making humans an interplanetary species, all while trying to make the human race go electric and solar specifically, while he's trying to dig tunnels and fix the traffic issues of the world, while he is trying to figure out how to connect AI to your brain so AI does not outpace humans. But what is he saying, when he's trying to really talk about freedom and Star Spangled Banner, and he wants everyone to be free and be able to get back to work and give people back their freedom, and the Tesla stock price is too high, and he's selling all his physical possessions, one after another. He's just stressed out. That's what it is. He's stressed out, and I use Elon Musk's Twitter account to get an overall vibe of how he's doing, how his mental is doing, and often that has to do with how the company is doing as well. So I'm sure that this whole pandemic has really affected the Tesla business, although it hasn't really affected the stock price. It's still trading at really high levels. He is stressed out, and that's a real threat. If you dig into these tweets, as I try to do, you'll see other things, like baby due on Monday. So is he stressed that his baby is due on Monday? Probably. That's probably adding to it, why all of these tweets are happening right here, and he has a baby due. So there's a lot of stuff happening at home, emotional, and that is affecting it as well. So what to do with all these crazy tweets? How should you look at them? Should you try to trade on them? Should you buy? Should you sell? Should you kind of freak out about what he's writing? What should you do? Now, I try to take these with a grain of salt while kind of realizing a lot of what's going on is emotion, and he shoots from the hip. So what I mean by that is he is really easy to feel something and type something. And so I try not to get too zoned in on a specific tweet, and I try to think about the bigger picture. However, it does make me feel good when he starts talking about other stuff. He's talking about Minecraft, he's making jokes, he's showing off his rockets, he's talking about stuff he's proud of, wishing good vibes for everyone in 2020. So as things change emotionally, I have a little bit more confidence in him as a leader. When you see a guy walk by wearing light up Skechers, next thing I knew, I was pregnant. That's pretty much what happened, says Elon, with I guess him and his girlfriend Grimes. And this is my favorite tweet of his recently, 2020 every 2 minutes. This isn't even my final form. Like this video if you know what that reference is, and if you think that's pretty funny. So overall, Elon Musk's Twitter account is absolutely crazy. It is the only reason I check out Twitter. I used to go just to see what Trump is tweeting because that was entertaining, but eventually it's just too much for me to handle, so I just go over to Elon's and read what is going on. Sometimes there's interesting stuff that you can learn from, interesting things that are going on in his business with expanding space and expanding his Tesla business. I want you guys to realize this is the place where you're getting the closest feeling of what Elon is talking about. Over and over again, there will be articles taking things completely out of proportion. There's a lot of noise. So everyone, I was just listening to my girlfriend who was on the phone with her best friend. Best friend was saying, why is everyone hating on Elon? What's going on? And things are taken out of proportion all the time. A lot of it has to do with how short the short percentage Tesla stock is. If we go over here to my Tesla holdings right here, which I have around 100 and something thousand of Tesla holdings because I also have it in my Robinhood account. If we go down here, I'm trying to find one thing right here, short interest. Okay, so short interest, this is how many shares that are out there that are actually shorted, which means people are betting against the stock. They're betting it for it to fall down, to go down. And if you think of a company you think is bad, there's a good chance it's not even shorted as much as Tesla. I was trying to find a really aggressively shorted company. I'm trying to do airlines to see what can be more shorted than Tesla. Short interest is 8% instead of nearly 10% at Tesla. So that's not it. Maybe let's check out Marriott hotels, right? Hotels, restaurants. Dang, that is potential to go bankrupt. And short interest is 4%. So you can see how high the short interest is of Tesla. Now, if you actually go to a company that is solid, like let's say Apple, for example, the short interest is actually 0.7 is the short interest. How many people are shorting the stock compared to the amount of shares out there? So what am I trying to get at? Well, with the short interest at a huge number, people are incentivized to talk shit about Elon, and their money is actually dependent on it. And a lot of the companies and articles and people that are writing on it, maybe people don't like Elon for his personality. A lot of people do not like his personality. Elon calls people pedos and has to pay for it, and he'll just say a tweet and, people will actually lose money. So there's actually a really good mix of people that just don't like Elon, and then also a good mix of people that have money against Elon and against Tesla. So what I'm trying to get at is a lot of articles will spin things out of proportion. A lot of YouTube videos maybe will remake them and highlight and frame the worst parts of the situation. And so I try to take everything with a grain of salt, but the one place you can get stuff that is actually based on Elon is his Twitter account. So those are my thoughts on Elon Musk's recent tweets, his Twitter account. I don't use it to decide when to buy, when to sell, but it does give me some confidence. For example, when there was a lot of crap against Elon, I think right before their last earnings call where they were profitable, Elon was pretty quiet. He wasn't tweeting a lot. I think this was, a few quarters ago. And that made me feel like he's probably confident. He probably has some good things to say in his earnings report. And sure enough, he did. He blew away the estimates and the share price skyrocketed. When you're looking at tweets or articles or anything, I want you to think about reading in between the lines, right? The things that people aren't saying, but maybe the emotion that's tied to it, what's really going on. I had to dig a little bit deeper to see that his girlfriend was actually had a baby that was due. That was probably a little stressful, and while the pandemic's happening and Tesla shut down and all of that stuff. Also try to keep things in perspective. This is a guy that literally will give up his life for his business, not something I personally would do. I value other things a little bit more. So when he talks about, freedom and wanting to let people have the option to go out and try to save their business that they've spent their whole entire life trying to build, that starts to make a little bit of sense. If you're watching this and you want to watch other videos, you want to look inside of my portfolio, you want to see exactly what I buy, what I sell, then make sure to subscribe and also like this video if you haven't already. If you are a male person, human being, and you are between 25 and 34. If you're not, you don't have to like this video. It's okay. Just leave it. If you are, like this video. I want to see how many of you guys are in that range. All right, that's it, guys. Thanks so much. I'll make a future video about when I buy a bit more of my main holdings here, and I will probably be purchasing on Monday. So make sure to subscribe so that way you get notified of the next video of what I buy and as I deploy this cash in the market during this crisis. I'll see you later, everyone. Thanks so much for watching.